Well, welcome to another episode of Out of the Blank podcast. I'm here with Mr. Geoff Weers.
Howdy, howdy.
You know,
Thanks for
your
having me.
your name was a controversy in our house for so long because I think my brother introduced everybody to you, like the Expendables. I guess he saw you guys live one time, and then forever I thought it was Geoff. I was like, that's a weird name because usually it's Jeff, and my brother's like, no, it's Geoff, it's Geoff. And then you guys came to Secrets and played on the radio, and my mom introduced you guys. You're on her live lick show, and she was like,
Okay, yeah.
She was like, "Are you an idiot? It's Jeff." And then my brother's just like, because for so long we're always telling her like you don't know anything, and then we're in the wrong basically.
Actually, my name is Joffrey, really. Like my full name is pronounced Joffrey. I go by Jeff. But so even I'm wrong. I don't even say my name right.
Well, so you're a singer and for one of my favorite bands at least too, but also a guitar player as well. The Expendables. Uh,
Correct.
so when did that all start? Like when did you decide you wanted to do that?
I decided I wanted to be in a band and play rock and roll for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
Um, Man, kind of early. I mean, it was a dream early, I guess. Pretty much as soon as I got my first guitar and started listening to Jimi Hendrix or something like that back in when I was about 12 years old or something. But the Expendables didn't form until what, 97, when we were in high school. So soon after we formed, we started to develop like a following in town a few years afterwards. So that kind of was the time when I was like, oh man, maybe we can do something with this. And we just kept trying, and it just never really stopped. And we're now this many years later.
I mean, like that's a lot for these young musicians out here, especially like I grew up in a beach town, so everybody down here is trying to be a musician. I mean, I played in my brother's band when I used to be in it, covers of your songs. I mean, it's practicing on the boardwalk, much like California has or something, or they have the pier and everything that you used to play on and stuff like that was basically us just playing on like I guess a low fame version of it. I mean, just hoping that somebody would take a second to listen. And it's hard to keep it going, man. Like it's really hard to kind of stick into it because like so many times you're going to a gig, you're not really getting the progress you want to get to. Like how did you keep that mindset to even stay into it?
Yeah, it helped us being like close friends and like just starting out more as like it being fun. It was more of like a fun thing, and then it started to become more serious because we started to actually sell tickets. That's when it started to be more serious and still fun, but like I think that's what kind of helped keep it together because it wasn't so serious, and it was just us doing what we wanted to do and having fun, and it being received by people well. And I think that's definitely what helped keep us going, is actually people were coming to our shows. So it's definitely hard, understandably, when you're getting things started because things aren't going the way you want, and you feel discouraged a lot of times. And we definitely got discouraged a lot. You all oftentimes go to a place expecting something to be something, and you show up and there's 2 people there, 5 people there, like way less than you expected. And so you learn to manage your expectations. So I feel that too helped in the process, is learning to manage your expectations and not think that every gig is going to be the gig to get you to the next level. It's like the constant gigging is going to get you to the next level.
Plus kind of doing all what you love too. Like if you notice like with like Red Hot Chili Peppers or something, the connection that certain members have with each other, you guys all have that same connection. I mean, every time I've seen you guys live, probably 3 or 4 times. I haven't been a whole lot just because eventually, it gets a little bit hard to travel like to Philadelphia or Baltimore from like Ocean City all the time. But I mean, one of my favorite concerts was the one you guys had when Sand in the Sky came out. I remember when that album dropped, it was around the same time the Dirty Heads were transitioning over to, I think it was The Sound of Change was their album that came out. And it
Okay.
was the summer of my senior year. I was listening to it. I was like, man, Starry Night, and I just kept playing it over and over and over again because I loved it so, like, just loved your guys' music so much. I was like, it's a new form they're trying to do, like bring in kind of like a newer age of what they're, because I'm used to like your self-titled album where it's all like hardcore
Correct.
rock and all that type of stuff, and everybody knows the classic Bowl for Two. I'm like, all right, but who sings that song? They're like, oh no, it's Bowl for Two. I'm like, hang on a second, who sings it though?
Right, right. Yeah, we definitely, I mean, we've been together for a long time, so definitely matured as people, and just by getting older, and so you just experiment with newer sounds and are influenced by different people and different sounds. So that's probably what came out in that record in regards to what you're saying about how it's changed a little bit. I feel like, yeah, we definitely just change as people, so the music changes a little bit, but I feel like throughout all our albums you can kind of notice there's a common thread, and that's the Expendables.
Yeah, and which album I would say means the most to you? Like, which one do you have, like, I guess, a more of a favor towards?
Man, um I like Open Container because that was us at a really raw form. There was no digital uh manipulation of what we were doing.
Yeah.
So I think that one is, there's some good stuff, or the performances on there were pretty good for us being such young kids.
And just like kind of where you guys have now, like you have Gone Raw that came out. I mean, at
Mm-hmm.
least that's the one that I guess would be your newest, besides like a single or something that you did. Um,
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and I mean, from my first CD was when I saw you guys the first time live at Secrets, and you guys played the acoustic set there, and that's when you guys first showed off Zombies in America. Because to be honest, my first influence with Expendables was my brother saw one of your gigs, and then he bought one of your guys' T-shirts, like a green T-shirt. And
Uh-huh,
since
uh-huh.
he's my older brother, I'm like, I'm gonna wear his clothing or do something like that. So all you guys had signed it. So I was walking around thinking I was like, tough shit with the Expendables T-shirt on, the green with like the tree on the back and the water, and I just thought it
Yeah,
looked
that's
so
cool.
cool. And
I love that shirt.
I got in trouble when I got into high school with it because he was a senior, I was a freshman. He saw me wearing it, but he didn't want to beat me up because I was wearing a shirt. He's like, I don't want to rip it. I was like, this is perfect. This is perfect. But I mean, self-titled, listen to that 24/7, and then going to Open Container and finding out you have a song called 24/7 on there too. And
Right.
it's crazy to see your styles, like just the way it's kind of changed. I mean, listening
Mhm.
to it, it's that type of music that really pumps you up. Like I feel like a lot of music nowadays, especially, it just seems like it's meant to be a hit. It's not really meant to be in there for a long time. But your guys, like, I'll listen to it today. I'll listen back to the very first one you guys produce, and I love them all, from the acoustic sets. I mean, they all have like a specific like kind of feeling and energy to it.
Yeah, wow. I've never really thought about of it that way. But that, I mean, that means a lot coming from you, man. That yeah, I don't, we just do what we like to do, and we like to play what we like to hear. And so that's all we can control. And so other than that, we're just happy that you guys like to listen to it. And we're just grateful every day that we have the opportunity to do what we do.
Is it ever weird, like coming across someone wearing a shirt or or doing like a cover, like you're just sitting somewhere and next thing you know, you start hearing your song playing and someone else is playing it?
Um, it used to be weird, but now I get super stoked. I'm so happy that I get to hear stuff that we've created, uh, played by other people or worn by people, or just things that we do. It's nice to know that things that we do mean something to people, and that is what keeps us doing what we do. It's really
Where do you who typically comes up with, like, I guess a lot of the ideas behind the songs? Like, do you guys all just sit in like a room together and jam out and see if you can crank something out? Somebody plays a beat, or is it just one person thinking over something and then someone just adds a beat to it?
um, honestly, it's evolved over the years. Nowadays, we're writing a lot different than we have written in the past, but it's generally someone will come up with an idea and then present you know, whatever, you know, finished the idea is, whether it's just a chorus or just a bass line or a whole song, or whatever stage that idea is in. Someone will just go, hey, this thing is something that means something to me, and let's try to jam it out. And so we'll go from there. Sometimes people are like, yo, this part I would like to hear, so please play this part like this, or do what you want to do and add what you think sounds cool, and while we're jamming it out. So it usually starts as one person giving the idea to the band, and then the band jams it out, and we kind of work from there. These days we're actually doing it more remote. We're like in our own home studios, tracking and retracking parts to songs that we've come up with. So we're sending tracks to each other going, hey, here's my new part for this song, what do you think? And we kind of go back and forth on that, and then, you know, he'll work on that part again if it's not congruent to what everybody's thinking or whatever, and then we just are kind of doing it in steps like that, back and forth digitally over the interwebs. So
Yeah.
things have changed quite a bit over the years, but it's still at the core of it, four of us putting in our 2 cents, and no one really dictating one way or the other which way things go.
Yeah, everybody's at the same level. I mean, like, especially now, you're looking at a lot of people that are stopped. I mean, it seems like society, especially with like the pandemic going on, it seems like everybody's kind of stopped in their place. They're not really moving forward. And I think it's especially important for like comedians and also musicians to be either working on content or trying to create something, because I mean, it's a good time right now too, because a lot of people are just maybe sitting around the house, maybe trying to listen to something like Pandora, Spotify, and but also same thing with your music, it means something to a lot of people. Like I remember Music Move Me, which is, you know, a really popular one too. That came out, I immediately started thinking, I'm like, when I first got my car and I have the aux cable, and then nobody could tell me how loud to play my music, so I'm blasting it through
Right.
neighborhoods, all the old people screaming at me,
Oh yeah.
telling me to turn it down.
You're like, no, this is my stuff, it moves me like this, and you're gonna listen to it how it moves me. That's kind, yeah, you're right, that's the way what the song was trying to capture. Was that feeling of, listen up, dudes, this music is badass, and you're not going to tell me to turn it down, because right now it's making me feel really good.
Yeah, so you want to get into that state where you're when you're listening to something, it's like it can almost bring a tear to your eye, or it can just pump you up. Like I feel like those are definitely some of the strongest songs out there. I'm pretty sure anybody that's ever packed a bowl out there in their entire life has listened to Bowl for Two Why They Did It. I mean, that is obviously your number one hit, but like when it comes to a song, I guess out of any of the ones you've created that means the most to you, whether it was something that was like painful or just like a bonding experience with your band or just one of your favorites.
uh, Man, we have so many songs, like even that evolves over the years. Sometimes I love a song, and then I'll turn that out that I don't like it, or something about it I don't like, or maybe an experience on stage while playing it made me not like it. But in general, I think I'm more excited about the newest material. That pretty much, I'm just always, you know, whatever we're kind of working on and kind of tinkering with is what I'm excited about the most. Playing the older songs is fun, and being at a show is fun, but I love working on new material, and like having new ideas, and like expanding on those ideas, and hearing what people are coming up with with the ideas and how they turn out from start to finish. So that's a really exciting thing to me.
What do you find, I guess, to be the most or your favorite part about just the whole band in general, such as like, is it gigging? Is it doing the live shows? Is it doing, you know, because that's got to be an experience in its own. I mean, I had, you know, when I went to go see one of your concerts was at the Fillmore in Silver Spring. And
Hmm.
I think it was like January or something. It was like a hard snow. And I was right in front of your guys' tour bus. I don't even know if you guys were on it, but I slipped and hit my tailbone on some ice and like
Oh man.
right in front of your tour bus. I'm like, they saw that. They saw it. Yeah. And
We didn't see it, no.
but I walked inside and this is right when Sand in the Sky came out. So it was so new. A lot of people didn't know any of the stuff that was on it. And you guys were playing a lot of your new stuff. And a lot of people were just kind of like, they were cheering it. They were loving it, but no one knew the words, like
Of course.
just like the self-title and stuff. But I was front row singing it. And then eventually you don't remember, I don't even care if this embarrassed me, but you point down and you looked at me and was like, hell yeah. And then you flicked 3 guitar picks at me. I missed
Nice.
2 of them, and then the one hit me in the
Oh,
forehead,
no.
and then it hit the floor, and then I had to step on it and stand on it for 2 hours basically, just to wait till everybody moved out of the way so I could pick it up.
Awesome. Yeah, I mean, that means a lot to us when we see someone like you singing our songs, man. Like that pumps me up. So like I've always felt and believed in the cyclical energy cycle of crowd to band interaction. I don't know if that's a technical term or maybe I just made it up, but like us putting out our energy and our music goes to the crowd, and that pumps up the crowd, and that crowd reacts, and that reaction fuels us to play even harder and more intensely, and that makes the crowd pump up even more, and they feed us, and so this constant like feed of energy between crowd and band. So that stuff's the best. I'm not sure what your question was. What was your question?
I mean, that was a perfect answer for it, dude. I was just trying to spout out a memory there, but it's funny because, like, I mean, if we look at everything that comes like the music when it comes to live performances and all these types of things that you experience, I mean, do you ever get nervous? I mean, the fact is, like, you're getting up for
Yeah,
all these people.
yeah, I get nervous all the time. I
How do
think,
you
yeah, you
cope
were
with it?
like, what part of being in a band do I like, or is it the live performance?
Yeah.
I love live performance, but for the fact that I get nervous, it's sometimes hard. Like you want to be out there, you want to do well, so you like play it up in your head, and you kind of start to like rev up the nerves. So pre-show is kind of is the hardest part of performing, I think, for me. Like just that anticipation and waiting, and kind of like the feeling in your gut. It does for me. It doesn't really ever go away. Some shows are less than others. Bigger shows definitely make me more nervous. But I'm starting to like this kind of studio stuff. I've been getting into creating a home studio here, and so this aspect of playing music is starting to become really a lot more interesting. I think from now on we're going to start recording our own records. Like we have a home studio down in a warehouse down in Santa Cruz here, and then we all have little project studios in our homes. So with this kind of new creative process of creating here and creating down in the studio, but keeping it all here in Santa Cruz and not really having outside producers, is a new thing for us, and it might yield some really cool results. If not, we might go back to using other producers, but for now it's really fun learning how to create great tones or better tones, or just explore sound space.
I think
And
that's
see what
important too, because you get too involved with studios. Next thing you know, it doesn't feel like your music anymore. It doesn't have that your essence, I would say. You know, I mean, you're talking about
yeah,
creating.
or just straight up expensive, honestly. I think with producers you definitely run into that issue of having other minds kind of weighing in on your ideas that you may or might not agree with, and so there might be some clashing of minds. But we've only done our acoustic records this way, kind of doing it all in house. We've never really pumped out electric songs this way. So this latest release, Lives and Loves, is a product of that, where we all just kind of did it here in our home, kind of homegrown way. So we're hoping that our fans respond positively to us being our own producers.
Yeah, I mean, I think you guys are the only band that I know of, at least that I follow, that has actually started their own cannabis thing as well. Like I remember I saw that. I'm like, is that Geoff in a lab coat? Like, is
Yeah,
that is that?
that is, I, I've kept, yeah, we're trying really hard. it's difficult. The cannabis space is very difficult. There's a lot, especially now, there's a lot of uncertainty with the whole virus thing, but even before, there's so much uncertainty with laws and regulations and stuff. So we have our partners in Expenda Farms, Cam and Blake. They're working really hard to try to find us and find us the products that we know our fans would like. So it's a slow process. We've had some strains out in dispensaries, but we're trying to develop even more stuff. They're working on maybe some diamond stuff. I don't know if you've heard of diamonds. You've heard of diamonds?
No. Besides the
It's like
stuff you put on jewelry, no.
it's like weed concentrate, THC concentrate. It's super sweet and sexy and clean, and it's the forefront of what's going on in the cannabis industry right now. So we just got guys working.
What made you want to what made you want to turn into like a cannabis industry as well? Like just branch off into your own cannabis. You're already doing so much with music.
Well, it's just we kind of look at it as just another avenue that complements what we do. I mean, we had our most well-known song is called Bowl for Two. And in the song we say, I got this one nug, the frosty purple nug. And it's big enough for two. So might as well sell a frosty purple nug too. And so we've actually found some frosty purple nugs, and we've been selling frosty purple nugs. And I think it's the perfect little merch item. You know, like if we were a band that were singing about beer, it might as well come out with a beer, right?
Yeah.
So might as well come out with a nug. I mean, I'm a cannabis user. I smoke it a lot. And so might as well. And it's legal now in a lot of places.
It's a little bit late on it being legal. I think it should have been legal a long time ago. I've talked to so many people. They're doing this podcast that are either using it for medical benefits, such as people with MS or going through something. And I'm like, if it's so helpful, then why hasn't it been for so long? And I guess it's just the whole money aspect of things. But I think,
yeah, I feel like there's things larger than just the plant and its effects that create its illegalness. You know, like it's way bigger than that. So it's fine. It's happening, and I think within our lifetime, especially within your lifetime, it'll be cool. It'll be kind of like having beer in 20, 30 years, who knows? But
yeah, you can
that's
easily pack a bowl for two. If you can have a beer for two, you can pack a bowl for two.
Right.
When
we're hoping for that.
Well, when it comes to playing like music, and especially like with even the cannabis thing in general, is the pandemic affecting that a lot? Besides maybe recording your own stuff and just being able to sell, like is that affecting, just people being afraid to buy just because of the fact like smoking apparently and all these types of things?
You think the pandemic affecting the cannabis space or just music in general? I've heard it's hurting the cannabis space. I think for a little bit it helped once the quarantine started. Obviously, I think they weren't letting dispensaries be like essential businesses, but then they finally did. So like that was a plus for cannabis folks. And I think the delivery services are doing pretty good now too. But I think everybody's just slow in general because no one's making much money and weed's expensive. So maybe there's a lot of people turning to the underground, like the black market, because the black market's still thriving and cheap. So I don't know.
I definitely
as
think
far as music goes,
it's a crazy situation just going on because I mean, right, like you were saying before, like that now that they're essential businesses. I remember when everything was getting shut down the first night, and there's basically like a weed shop or dispensary right next to I think like Royal Plus Electric or something. There was a line of like 50 cars going all the way down the road, just getting in there last minute to make sure they can get everything they needed.
Right.
And I was like, that's obviously essential. Like they kept car places open for like, oh, if you want to buy a new car, like you need transportation. It's like, but who's needing to buy a car right now? Like,
well, the people that make the rules don't necessarily think that way, but it came around, and so it's just a slow thing. I've learned that this whole legalization process is just a slow thing, and the people that need to be convinced that it's not that bad are slow to change their mind. So it's okay. It'll just happen in time. And um, yeah, I'm not gonna get worked up over it, I guess.
Yeah. When it comes to the even playing music again too, like when it starts to actually open back up and people are going to concerts, how different do you think it's going to be? Like if people are wearing masks or
I don't know. I mean, I feel like it's gonna be like, yeah, maybe masks. I heard like restaurants might be checking temperatures. I feel like capacities are gonna be different. You know, like your 1,000-person venue is now gonna be a 500-person venue or something like that to keep just more distance between people. But I don't know. I'm maybe thinking just in bleak terms. Maybe it'll turn around and it'll everybody will forget about it in 2 or 3 years. It's hard to tell for me, but I'm pretty pessimistic, I guess you call it, thinking that things are going to return back to quote unquote normal. I think there's always going to be a little tinge of this following, a little tinge of this happening, or tinge of regulation, or like things having to be a certain way for in the future. Like if you're going to a concert, you got to wear a mask, or like masks are going to be a lot more prevalent in our society going forward, and it's not going to be the way it was ever again, something like that, or like the way 2000 or 9/11 affected our traveling in our world for years to come. I feel like this might affect things in small ways for years to come. I just don't know,
I
but
definitely
maybe I'm just pessimistic.
no, I mean, there's
I hope
definitely
I
going to be
am.
new. There's going to be definitely new regulations. I mean, it's going to be weird if you have to wear a mask for probably a while once everything starts opening back up. But I look at like all the music, like if you're producing a new album or something too, I'm starting to notice like there's a trend with like kids my age and stuff wanting to buy old records, wanting to buy CDs, wanting to have physical format of like content, such
Sure.
as like record players wanting to be brought back. I'm like, this might be an actual spark to, billboards change from, going platinum records and all these types of things to downloads. It all switched over to that. I'm like, downloads are cool, but for me, I still prefer the disc. Like I went to that night of that concert I told you about. I went and bought a Sand in the Sky CD, and then I had all of you guys sign it, even though you were dealing with so many other drunk people in front of me. But it's like it's having that physical copy, like, you know what I mean? I put the
I agree.
guitar pick I got in there. It means more than if I have Spotify on my phone and I'm listening to it. It's still nice to have like that physical piece.
I mean, I agree. I agree with you. I'm old school, and I remember back in the day playing the tape or the record, and having the little, the fold out or the record jacket to read, and read every single word, read all the lyrics as the record's playing, look at all the pictures, and like immerse yourself as you're, like as you're listening to the record. That's of the visual kind of content to absorb as you're hearing the song, and you kind of look at it over and over and over, and you kind of get mesmerized by this jacket and cover, and you can't really do that in a digital way.
Yeah, I mean, having that art too, like I look at it like I have the CD up on my wall or something. I mean, it's the same
Yeah,
reason
the art,
why open
dude.
container people are getting that tattoo on their skin. I mean, that's got to be weird as shit. Like you see somebody come up like with your tattoo on their arm, like, dude, check this out. I'm like, I don't even
Yeah,
know what to say.
yeah, yeah. It's weird. It's got to be even weirder for the guy, our artist that drew it, Sean Logan, seeing his pen strokes on there. That's. But yeah, I mean, but also it's not weird. It's awesome. It's great. I love it. That's.
And
I mean, it means so much to me that someone actually tattooed our band logo or whatever it is on their skin. That's amazing.
yeah,
That
well,
means like
like
that's
not to
so
fan out
cool.
here, like not to fan out, but like for instance, one of your songs that means the most to me is not one that you in particularly sang lead on. It was Minimum Wage. I mean,
Yeah,
for a lot of people like my age or even people older are stuck in a really crappy job. Like I used to like lay on my bed or something and be afraid to go into work just because I knew that like I wasn't getting anywhere, I wasn't doing anything, and I would listen to this song, I would listen to the Gone Soft version of it, and
nice.
that acoustic sound had, I guess, deeper meaning I mean, enough to really bring a tear to your eye to where like I'm no singer, but I would sing it and it would, give me that strength to like, I have to do this. I know it's not going to be like this forever and go. And that's like, a lot of your songs are like that for a lot of people out there. I mean, in particular, I could name so many different versions of your songs, so many songs in general that mean something to me. Like I think that's really important for a lot of people to understand, because like I'll turn on the radio now and I'll hear whatever number one hit like Old Town Road that doesn't mean anything to me.
Mhm.
It's cool. If I ride a horse, it'd be nice to listen to that. But your songs have an impact that hit on such like a soulful level. I mean, not to sound corny, but it means a lot to a lot of people.
Wow, I mean, that means a lot to us. And I guess we don't really know. I mean, we just write from our hearts, I guess, like we're not really trying to uh, do anything other than get what's in our heads out into the world. And, uh, and so it it's just really cool to hear that like it means something to people. And like, I don't know, when I write a song or a lyric, it comes from a place that's very personal, like it definitely, every song that I write means something in my personal life, or it's derived from something in my personal life, or it's from the thought process that I have. So the things that I have to say are personal, and maybe that is the reason why people respond in such a way. I don't know, but I'm just being, or trying to be honest, or trying to just express my feelings in the most concise way.
Be real.
Uh,
I feel like that's the best answer, is to be real about it. I mean, it's for so many times we're looking at something like acting on TV, or we're looking at music that's talking about 600 white Benzes. I'm like, I don't have 600 white Benzes. I got a green
right.
Kia Soul that's baby barf green. I don't know how to drive. Like, like I can't relate to that, but like listening to your song, something that people can relate to. I mean, that's what I see as a benefit when you guys are creating songs now in your own like kind of home studios, is you can put a lot more of yourself into it, rather than having a studio or somebody maybe hype it all up or change it in a different format to make it sound, I guess, more keen to audiences. I'm like, any person that actually enjoys music would listen to something that has a little bit of soul into it.
Yeah, I feel like the big studio thing definitely um, makes kind of makes me nervous, or like it kind of like you're in this like nice place and you're kind of paying a lot of money to be there, and so you want to get your parts done and do it right and not suck and not waste everybody's time.
Yeah.
So there's pressure. And yeah, like being here and having, and we were supposed to be on a long tour starting right when this COVID thing hit. We were 3 shows into a tour that was supposed to last for 40 shows or something like that. So having this time and like being able to really like kind of be lazy with the songs and like work on it, but like when you're kind of burnt on it, go and do something else and then come back to it, and having that opportunity to like stop when you're feeling burnt and not be forced to like finish something within a finite amount of time, and having all this time to like really think and have it absorb into you and replay it and go back and replay it again and play it a different way and listen to it and all that stuff. So I hope this process creates some cool stuff and you guys will like it, because we love to play music that sounds dope, and we want to be dope for y'all.
Yeah.
You
do you,
know?
do you have any traditions that you do before you guys play? Like either it's like a road gig snack or something. Like for me, it's pizza combos. I don't know what it is about those little bastards, but I'll tear up a bag of them
Those are good.
before every single trip.
Before like a show, I try to just to be super mellow, or like I'll take naps and try to like recharge, or like if it's been a long day or a long tour, like definitely try to rest as much as possible. And like I've learned that like the voice is kind of like it's a muscle, or it's like your body So you got to take care of it like it's a muscle. You got to take care of it like you're a runner, like you're, an athlete in a sense, where you got to stay hydrated. You got to keep eat, decent food to, keep your, vitamins and
Yeah.
all your good stuff at a proper level, and treat your body right. So yeah, you got to do that shit.
Do you try and focus on meditation at all while you're on the road, or do any type of like at least?
I don't. I should. I feel like I do a little, like I do warm-ups like sometimes before shows, and that kind of gets meditative, just kind of breathing and listening to a scale going up and down, and just focusing straight on your breath and your vocal cords, and kind of letting everything else go. That's a little meditative to me, but I do not have like a good meditative practice. I wish I did. I used to do some hot yoga that was kind of a meditative practice for me, but I've since fallen off. So
Every time I've
uh,
ever tried yoga, I'm pretty sure I farted in the middle of a pose, and I'm like, I can't stick with this.
hey man, that's you breathe out of your mouth and your butt sometimes.
If you had to pick like
Okay.
maybe a memory out of like all your years just with the band, whether it was a giant gig or a small gig, something that means something to you, which would it be?
A memory, like a straight up,
Like straight
man.
up, you remember the detail of it. Like I could think of like a worse one for you would be like when you had your equipment that was taken that one time. Remember I saw that Instagram picture. I was like, there's no way.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that sucks. I don't know, man. I have so many that are vivid things, like, and there's so many small things that mean so much, and so many big things that mean so much. It's really hard to pinpoint, but I don't know. I don't know. I can't say, because if I say something, they'll be like, "Well, no, it's not." Well, and then I'll say something. Oh, well, no, like it's not really. So like,
Yeah.
I don't know. It's all, at times it seems like it's all a big blur, and then sometimes, yeah, like I can remember some very vivid things. It just, um, I don't know. I don't
So when I
know.
was asking when you guys got up on stage or something and did like a like you guys are performing or something, you guys are basically, I mean, to me, you guys look stoned out of your mind, but like I could never have done that. I've played live before, and I used to play before Music Movie came out, the music video. I used to play a melodica. So I saw that, I
Mhm.
was like, no shit, like he plays melodica too. And my brother and me, we did a cover version of Down Down Down. And
Nice.
I'm not a weed guy, so like every time I've ever gotten high, I've gotten too high, and I mean
Yeah,
too
yeah,
high. And so you're trying to remember to breathe and also play, and then eventually you're sitting there like, I don't know what I'm doing at all.
yeah. No, I don't smoke weed before we go on, because I get too high and forget where I'm at in the song, and it sucks. So I definitely do all my smoking well before, take my little nap, wake up, brush my teeth, drink some water, wake up like it's almost like it's morning time, and then go out and play the show.
Does that help you?
That's kind of my process.
Do you ever like use weed to be able to like write songs too, like be able to feel a little bit better?
Yeah, that's probably the reason. Most of the reason why I smoke weed, or like why I smoke it too much, is because, yeah, pretty much every song that I've written has come, being I've been high, smoking some weed and just playing guitar, and just, feeling the feels of what's going on, and just, you know kind of freestyling and being all stony.
Like I even said, I'm not a stoner, but I am a big supporter of it just because not only the medical benefits, but also like I feel like it's a spiritual kind of opening into yourself. I know that sounds kind of, stupid talk,
No.
but I think it's because like every time I've ever done it, it showed me things like, oh man, you could be sitting up straight or you could be doing this. Like you kind of like sort of self-analyze and also started to notice some things too, like whether
Yeah,
you have something going on in your life.
sometimes, and sometimes that can be very scary. You gotta be like, what am I doing? Ah!
Yeah, you're on top of a
But
building and you look over and then your mind's telling you, "What happens if you just jumped?" It's like, "Why am I thinking that right now?"
right, a lot of times when I get stoned, I have like this immediate urge to like pick up the guitar. It's a weird thing, but it's like it's almost like clockwork. I'll smoke a little bit, sit back, and then like kind of start feeling it, and like
the first thing I'm like, oh man, playing guitar sounds really awesome right now. So I'll just do it. And that usually or sometimes leads to a song. So that's how cannabis helps me in my life. I think I smoke a little bit too much.
I've never
but
heard that word before.
I mean, whatever. I guess I could be doing other worse things.
Exactly. I mean, it's also, I mean, if it helps you too. I mean, my brother, when he creates songs or something, it's always he's got it. You know, he wants to get high and wants to actually feel it, and I think that's what it does. I mean, it puts you in the mood to be able to kind of feel the energy that's really around you, such as like music notes and stuff. You can tell when a chord
Hmm.
might be need to be replaced with something else or something. For me, it was just like, tell me what to hit because I'm already forgetting how to breathe. So it's like
Right.
it goes
No, it's
from there.
funny. It's funny, pot, if I'm by myself, it's a very creative opening thing. But sometimes pot, if I'm having to play music with other people and I'm really stoned, it's like I get very introverted. So I think the introversion helps with the creativity when I'm by myself, but it also sometimes doesn't help when I'm in an environment where I'm not super comfortable playing with other people. But I've been in this band with these guys for so long. I don't really get uncomfortable with them, but I'm just saying I feel like the introversion uh, tendencies when I smoke weed helps when I'm alone to like just open up and be a little more creative, I
A
guess. Or
social
just,
butterfly. That's you, a social butterfly.
I guess so.
When it comes to like a craziest experience, I would say like something that maybe either happened on during a gig, like a crazy thing, like maybe a crazed out fan, or maybe something on the road, like something didn't go right, you missed a gig or something.
I mean, just recently, not this, I mean, the tour last year, we had to miss the 2 shows in Colorado because we were stuck in, I think, Omaha or somewhere. No, I don't know. We were stuck somewhere east of Colorado in a snowstorm, and that sucked ass. We had to stay in a hotel and like miss a bunch of shows, and it was like going to be awesome, and we were totally stoked. So that was just a recent one that sucks because I hate missing shows. I hate letting our fans down and not being there for them. So yeah.
I mean, that's got to put weight on you too. The fact like if you miss a show, you just feel bad. I mean, that's we can tell a band actually truly cares. But I feel like your fans are just going to support you either way because they see how much you guys actually enjoy playing your music. It doesn't seem like you're just going on stage and then immediately when the curtains close or something, you're like, "Oh, I hate these guys" or something. No, it seems like when you guys are on stage, like I've seen you guys play, I've seen how you guys will sit there. I mean, in all of you guys are connected. It seems like.
Yeah, we definitely, like I was talking about with that whole cyclical thing, like that doesn't just, it's not just with shows, it's just kind of like with our life, like our fans put in a lot of energy towards us, and we in turn, our lives are geared towards giving back to our fans, making music and little things on the internet and just being present. Um, so yeah, we try. I mean, there's that old saying in show business, the show must go on. You make every effort to get there. You just, I've played shows like dog sick. I've had to, I played a show in Denver, another Denver story, for Riot Fest, and it was a huge thing, a big show in the middle of the stadium's parking lot, a bunch of bands, huge bands, and I had been barfing all the night before. We had a gig in Florida the night before. I was barfing all that day, and
Gas
barfing on the
station
plane.
sushi.
I
Gas station
don't
sushi.
know. Barfing all the day on the plane to Denver, barfing in Denver. And before the show, I had to go get an IV put in my arm so I could just be hydrated enough to get on stage, play the 40 minutes, and get off stage and keep barfing. So we put as much effort as we possibly can to make that show.
I'm
There's enough.
immediately just picturing you trying to sing Bowl for Two and then vomiting on somebody in the front row.
Nah, No, I don't think I've ever vomited on anybody, but I've definitely been singing and come close to vomiting, or like, yeah, more than a handful, a few times. I've definitely been on stage, probably not way too sick to be up there, but you never know. Or like the crowd probably never knows, or like I feel like sometimes when I'm really sick, as soon as I get out on stage, like it kind of all goes away because the adrenaline's going.
Yeah.
So that'll be like the best I'll feel all day long.
Now,
and I'll get like shit.
at any point, like just when you were first starting out and kind of, when did you start to notice that this was going to be like an actual like thing? Like this was like what you guys were performing and was really starting to take off?
I mean, I think it was when we got signed to a management company that was kind of like, oh, well, we're now professional, or like, like this is now our job. I had to quit, my deli job. And so up until that point, we were doing a lot of gigs up and down California at like colleges and stuff. So, yeah, I think as soon as we kind of signed to a real deal management company is kind of when it felt professional and when I had to quit my job.
So you worked at a deli shop.
Yeah, Garden Deli and Liquor here in Santa Cruz. It's the shit.
Did you make the best sandwich in the business?
You know what? I did. No, I don't know. I was a sandwich connoisseur. I definitely try, like I do in music. I tried my best to make the best sandwiches and make it look good and tasty. I mean, I love sandwiches. I want everybody that tastes the sandwich that I make to feel that love. So
which sandwich, dude, you got to help me out here, because look, when I first discovered, if you take 2 pieces of bread, put 2 slices of cheese on each bread slice, and then stick it in the microwave with some pepperoni on it for like 10 seconds, melted cheese on anything.
It's perfect. It's a great cohesion element or agent. But yes, sandwiches were a big part of my life for many years, because it's a small mom and pop shop here in Santa Cruz. They've been around for a long time. They have a big family. And they were kind enough to let me work there and go play shows and like develop our budding little band, and still let me work there. Like after I come back from a tour, or like I have a last minute gig and be like, I'm out of here. They gave me the schedule. I worked Monday through Thursday, so I had my weekends off. They let me come in late. I was like late every day, but I showed up. So they didn't fire me, thank God. But yeah, I was sandwich guy for maybe, I don't know, 5 or 6 years in my early 20s, pumping out hot pastrami's and Italian specials and grilled chickens and meatball sandwiches. And yeah, they make a mean hot pastrami, California style hot pastrami. I'm not sure if it would, how y'all East Coasters would judge what our hot pastrami is like, but
Hey, I mean, I'll eat anything if it's good, okay? I eat cereal dry, okay? That's how baller I am.
Hey, me too. I love cereal dry. I hate milk.
Dude, all day I'm just getting I got a container that's just filled with multiple cereals, so you're just constantly reaching in. You'll get mini wheats one day, you'll get cornlaflakes the next day.
This is what I'm on these days.
Oh, Pops. Dude,
Pops.
I just had that I just had that last week. I think what I'm going through right now is there's a Dippin' Dots ice cream version one. That's like has little Dippin' Dots clusters in it. I'm like, this is banging.
I'm a big fan of.
If you say Honey Smacks, I'm gonna freak out.
I love
Eggo waffles.
That's like I eat that shit every morning.
Dude, all right.
It's probably pretty bad for me, but I don't know.
What you need to do is take 2 of those Eggo waffles. You need to put like a sausage in between them, and then put some syrup on top of it, dog. I'm telling you, man, the crazy combinations work.
Boring as hell. I eat that plain too. I don't put anything on them. I put them in the toaster, take them out, and just chow. So I'm boring as fuck.
I'll never forget. I got pretty high out of my mind, but I went and I discovered that if you put peanut butter on eggs is the best combination in the world.
No, I don't believe you, dude.
Dude, I'm telling you, dump some black pepper on that, you're good.
That sounds disgusting.
Well, I was high, so I haven't had it since. I really appreciate you coming out and doing the podcast, man, Geoff. It was awesome talking to you, dude.
Dude, thanks for having me on, man. It means a lot that you thought of me, and I just appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Yeah. I'm going to make sure I link up everything in the description, all your links to your site so everybody can check out the new music and the newest one
Great.
that's coming out.
We we don't have a name for it. It's the working title is Surf Song. So, but we have another new one that's actually out called Lives and Loves. So yeah, people can check out. That's the newest one. But we're working on a brand new song right now called Surf Song, working title. And that hopefully will be coming out in a month or two. So
is there anything you want to say?
We're working on a new record.
Is there anything you want to say to maybe somebody out there that's trying to start creating new music or something? Maybe just trying to pursue what you guys were doing?
Yeah, shit. If you're trying to create and become a professional musician, I'd say keep doing what you love. Like if you love playing guitar, love whatever instrument, just do it and get better at it and keep getting better at it. And that journey of getting better at your instrument will get you far. And just be humble. I don't know. That's about it.
Start the day off with some Eggo waffles.
Yeah, toast a couple up. Don't put anything on them. Stick them in the old mouth and go on with your day creating and loving music. I don't know. Yeah, I would say just learn. If you're starting out, learn. Be the best you can, best musician you can by learning and getting better at your craft. And I think all good things happen when you pay attention to your craft. I don't know what else I could say. Meet people and be humble and care about other musicians and other folks that like your music. If people start liking your music, be very thankful that people enjoy the sounds that you make, because that's what we're all living for, man. People digging your stuff and your art. That's what all artists want.
That was like
I guess.
That was like 50 motivational things in 10 seconds with Geoff.
I know.
Loved it.
Cut me off. And
well, this is awesome, dude.
I have a soft spot for the upcoming musician, because I was once one myself and had the same questions. And it's a hard place to be. There's a lot of uncertainty. There's uncertainty now for me, but I get it. I get the struggle, but the struggle pays off if you work hard and keep learning.
Yeah, if you're willing to chase after it, for sure. You don't want to give up on it.
Yeah, and have fun. Like, it's all about having fun. It's playing music. You don't work music. You play music. So you just play. Have that mentality. Go in and have fun. Smile all the way through.
Couldn't have said it any better myself, Geoff. And I thank everybody for listening to this episode of Out of the Blank podcast, and stay tuned for our next episode.